Hello, hello, hello. Can y'all hear me? Put a one in the chat if you can hear me. Hey, I said what I said. Okay, thanks, Senna. Thanks, Maria. Thanks, everybody, for joining. I'm going to try to wait a minute or two for someone else, for others to come in. And if no one shows, it'll just be us. But we will talk about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Okay? How was everybody's day so far? Forgive my voice. If my voice sounds a little off, it's because I'm a little under the weather, but I did not want to miss doing this live. Peaceful day, that's great, Santa. Peace is so important. Amen, Maria. Every day that we open our eyes to see another day is a blessing. We are all blessed. Thanks, Santa. Hey, Urban. It's DJ Day? Okay. Well, today on this live, we're just going to talk about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Okay, so it's 6 minutes after 5, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Like I said, this is about Martin Luther King Jr. And I had to do a little more research on Dr. King because I wanted to give more information. And there were some things that I found out that I did not know. Now, as we all know, well, as most of us may know, when we learn, those of us who did learn Black history, some Black history in school, when we did learn Black history, we learned about Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks, Malcolm X. Those were the three that I can think of that at least people know their names if they don't know everything about them. But again, we're going to talk about Martin Luther King Jr. today, and there may be some things that some of us didn't know before, but hopefully you'll have an open mind and be willing to learn some things. So I want everybody to put a 2 in the chat if you knew that Martin Luther King Jr. was not his birth name. As a matter of fact, put in, don't put in 2, just put in his birth name if you know it. Hey, Auntie Gigi, thanks for showing up and honoring Dr. Martin Luther King. You didn't know, Senna? Okay. Hey, Scorpio Mama, how are you? Does anybody else know Martin Luther King Jr.'s birth name? Nobody? I'm going to give you all a minute. So nobody knows? his birth name? Well, he was born Michael King Jr. And although today is, I didn't say when he was born. I said, I said his birth name. I said what I said. Right, Auntie Gigi. He was born Michael King Jr. on January 15th, 1929. He was the second born of three children. And in 1934, his father decided to change their name after Martin Luther, the Reformation leader. He was 5 years old at the time. So, a little about him before I play this video. It's okay. Okay, I know who to blame, Scorpio. Thank you. Of course, you know how some of these men folk are. Um, so one day while he was playing with his brother, AD, well, let me go back for a minute. Um, who knew that Martin Luther King Jr. attempted to take his life not once but twice at a young age? Did anybody know that? Just answer yes or no if you knew that. Yes, no, okay, okay. So thanks for answering, y'all. Um, so this is something that I recently found out myself. I didn't know this, but one day while he was playing with his brother AD slid down a banister and hit his grandmother, his maternal grandmother. Her name was Jenny, but um, King called her Mama. He caused her to fall, and Martin Luther King Jr. believed that she was deceased since she wasn't responding. So he blamed himself and attempted to unalive himself by jumping from the second story window. But thankfully, the attempt didn't work and his grandmother was still alive. That was the first time he attempted to take his own life. The second time he attempted to take his life was on May 18th, 1941. He snuck away from home to watch a parade. He found out that something happened to his grandmother, and when he got home, he found out that she had a heart attack and passed away during the transport to the hospital. He took it hard and blamed himself. He believed that God took his grandmother as a punishment for his deception. This caused him to jump out of the second story window again, but again, he survived. Yes, this is this is true, y'all. I'm not really reading the chat right now, but that's something that I didn't know about him that I learned by doing research. Another thing that I just learned recently was that one of his first friends, I guess he was, he played with his brother and sister, but He had a friend, was a little white boy. Um, the little boy's father owned a business across the street from where he lived, from where King and his family lived. And in September 1935, at the age of 6, both he and his friend started school. They weren't able to attend the same school due to segregation. Shortly afterwards, the friend's parents stopped their son from playing with Martin. They were quoted as saying, "We are white and you are colored." When he told his parents, they talked to him about the history of slavery and racism in America. He said later that this made him determined to hate every white person. But his parents told him that it was his Christian duty to love everybody. So that's another thing that I didn't know about him. Okay, I didn't know it. I said what I said. Um, I found out that he memorized hymns and Bible verses by the time he was 5 years old. Starting at the age of 6, he attended church events with his mother and sang hymns while she played the piano. People enjoyed his singing. He enjoyed opera and playing the piano. He enhanced his vocabulary by reading the dictionary. He got into fights with neighborhood boys, but a lot of times he would use his way with words to avoid or stop fights. It's been said that he showed a lack of interest in grammar and spelling, and that this persisted throughout his life. In September of 1940, at the age of 11, he was enrolled at Atlanta University Laboratory School for 7th grade. While he was there, he took violin and piano lessons and showed interest in history and English classes. So in 1942, at the age of 13, he skipped the ninth grade and enrolled in Booker T. Washington's high school, where he maintained a B+ average. Booker T. Washington was the only high school in the area for African American students at the time. In 1944, at the age of 15, he passed the entrance exam and was enrolled at Morehouse College. In 1944, he also chaired the Youth Membership Committee of the NAACP. His father was also involved in the NAACP, and his father was a minister as well. So I'm going to play this video. It's a short video, and it's not my video. I didn't create it, so prayerfully they won't try to strike me for it. So give me a minute to bring this video up, y'all. Oh, and I forgot to tell you that this is his speech on August 28th, 1963, during the March on Washington, his I Have a Dream speech. Okay, hold on.
I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. 50 years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. This nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today that one day down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification. One day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, and every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is a faith that I go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. This will be the day. This will be the day when all of God's children will be able to sing with new meaning, "My country, tears of thee. Sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. And so let freedom ring. From the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire, let freedom ring. From the mighty mountains of New York, Let freedom ring from the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Let freedom ring from the curvaceous slopes of California. Not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring, and when this happens, when we allow freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual. Free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
Okay. Right, Auntie Gigi. Can y'all hear me now? Can y'all hear me? Put a one in the chat if you can hear me. Okay, good. So, yes, everybody probably heard that speech, but like Auntie Gigi said, it still gives some of us chills. But the last speech that he gave on April 3rd, 1968, I don't have the video for that, but I'm going to read some of what he said. This was at the Mason Temple in Memphis, Tennessee. And like I said, it was April 3rd, 1968. And this is part of his speech when he was talking about he's been to the mountaintop. So in his words, he said, well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead, but it really doesn't matter with me now because I've been to the mountaintop. And I don't mind like anybody. I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place, but I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And he's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. This was his last speech, and that one really sent chills to me because on April 4th, 1968, the day after that speech, he was unalived. But I want to assure everybody that they may have unalived the dreamer, but we all need to do our part to ensure that the dream lives on. I want to thank everybody for coming to this live, and I hope that you all have learned something today, just like I learned doing some of my research. And let's keep in mind that Martin Luther King Jr., although he was an awesome man, he was still a man. So he was not perfect by any means, but he was someone who should inspire us to do better, to make this world a better place. Don't be too upset about what's going on today or in this time, because we have an obligation to make sure that the dream lives on. And don't complain, but just do your part. Let's all do our part to make sure that the dream lives on. So if anybody wants to come up to say anything about Martin Luther King, hi Janice, thanks for joining. If anybody wants to come up to say anything about this man, feel free to hit the link and to come up to say whatever you may have to add about Martin Luther King. I'm going to put the link in the chat, and I'm going to give everyone a few minutes if you want to come up. I said what I said. If you have anything to say, says feel free to come up and say what you have to say. I'm going to give it a few minutes, and I'm going to pin the link so that if anyone wants to click on the link, feel free to come up to say something about this awesome man or something about today, period. Let me get rid of this banner. Okay. Can y'all still hear me? Do y'all still hear me? Okay, thanks, Auntie Gigi. Thanks, Maria. Thanks, Janice. Thanks, Senna. I'm going to give a few minutes. If anyone wants to come up to say anything about this man, feel free. And if not, I will be ending the live and praying that everyone enjoys the rest of your day. So I'm going to give a couple of more minutes. I said what I said, may have something to say. So I'm going to give her a few minutes to come up if she wants to say anything. Thanks, Scorpio. Like I said, I wasn't feeling well, but I felt that I had to honor Dr. King today. His birthday was on the 15th, but today is the day that we observe it. And I could not let the day go by and not honor this awesome man. I'm waiting to see if you're still here. I said what I said. Let me know if you want to come up. If not, I'll end the live. Thanks, Senna, and let everyone go. Thanks, Auntie Gigi. Okay, it looks like, well, I'm gonna give a couple of more minutes. I said I said what I said. Can you put something in the chat to let me know whether or not you want to come up? Okay. So I said what I said is coming up. I'm gonna wait until she comes up and see what she has to say. I'm glad that some of you learned something that you didn't know about Dr. King today. And I'm glad that I had the opportunity to do some research to find out some things that I didn't know. Okay, so here goes. I said what I said. Hey,
Hey,
sis.
hey sis, how you doing today?
I'm still
I'm
alive. So,
gonna start just okay. I'm gonna start towering up my computer when I come to your channel because that's what takes me so long. I'm normally just watching you on the TV,
okay.
and I didn't know if you wanted to have anybody on the panel since you said you wasn't feeling so well, and
Yeah,
so
I can still, I'll let you do most of the talking and save my
yeah.
voice some. So go ahead and
Okay.
say what you have to say. I'm going to go on mute unless you want me to say something.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'm sorry that you don't feel so well. This is, the horrible weather. I don't know how cold it is there, but we took a turn for it got really cold here in Texas today. So I feel your pain on that. But you taught me something today about Martin Luther King, about him trying to unalive himself. And I put it in the chat. Now I understand the courage that he had after those two attempts, and he didn't actually succeed. I guess that would give you a lot of strength and a lot of courage, and also it'll give you the willpower to go on because apparently whenever you're trying to do something of that nature and it doesn't happen, so I guess a bulb came off in his head, like that's not something that I need to do or should attempt to do, because it really wasn't his time, whenever he did try to do that. And I feel sorry for him because it appears that he was very close to his grandmother, and both times it was because of his grandmother that he was trying to unalive himself. So I just kind of wonder what message that he got from, what did he take away from that, and look like he took that, I can go on and I can be stronger and I have another purpose, because he did grow up to be who he was and to be a very powerful and eloquent speaker, and to learn the dictionary at the age of 5. That's just extraordinary and remarkable. So that's another thing that I learned. So that made him, in my opinion, that makes him a child prodigy, if he was just that smart and also able to play the piano at such a very young age. And so he actually just had a calling on his life at all times. And so I do appreciate the research that you did behind that, because I never knew any of those things about him. All I did was, all I heard was, the basics of what they taught us in school. And I did watch I remember watching that movie about Martin, my friend Martin. I do remember watching that movie, so that's how I knew about his friend, and about him being friends with the little white boy, and how the parents made him, stray away from his friend. So I did know that part of it, but I didn't know the other parts that you brought out today. So I do appreciate the education that you gave us today.
Well, I appreciate you coming over and listening. Um, yeah, I learned some things myself. Like you said, I knew the basics about him, but there's still some things that I probably need to research more to find out about him. But I wanted to try to um, give some information that we normally wouldn't have learned in school.
Right.
Even though they talked about him, they didn't really teach us a lot. If you look back and think over um, what they taught us, it was really very little.
Exactly. Yeah, because I don't know where you went to school at, but I went to school in the South, and they barely glossed over it. I didn't even learn about Malcolm X until I got grown and got in college. I didn't know anything
Wow.
about Malcolm X because no one ever, mentioned him, because Martin Luther King was always the subject when it came to Black history. And of course, they're going to teach you just very little,
Mm-hmm.
touch the surface, and that's it. So, I probably, you probably kind of inspired me to do a little bit more research about it too, because if this happened to him, then there, like you said, there are some other hidden things that haven't been told to us, that we probably could research and find out what actually happened with him. And you kind of go by the movies, and you kind of go by, what you was taught in school, and like anything else, especially like the Bibles, you just hear the stories and you memorize
Mm-hmm.
those. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's not a lot of depth, not a lot of depth to it, because you're watching so many movies about it. And probably if maybe if I actually just got a book about him and just probably read a book about him, I'm pretty sure the book will probably go in way into more depth than
Uh-huh.
anything that's been taught to us, because that's one thing I've noticed about books. They go, a lot deeper than what movies or even what you learn in some classes. And so by the time you hit college, he's barely, I didn't remember learning anything about him in college. They taught us
Wow.
about, well, from the classes that I took and got the business degree, you learned about history and work. The history that you learn, the history that you learn is about workers' rights. And so, he's kind of thrown into that mix of him fighting for equality for workers, but they
Mm-hmm.
didn't go into and it's more into, about having children working, you know, and about
Mm-hmm.
having employers and about having employers making employees be fearful of them is the model that they follow right now, and how the employers follow the military model as far as how they run their companies. But it's not really in a lot of depth into the actual civil rights history. And so
Right.
I probably will start trying to research, get a little bit more depth and get some more books, because now you've intrigued my interest. You've piqued my interest at this point.
That's good. That's good.
Was that your goal?
That's always my goal. I don't want anybody to just hear what I have to say and leave it there. Um, because you may learn some things that I didn't know. I believe in each one teach one,
Right.
passing it on. So if you know something I don't know and you let me know, then that's helping me and vice versa.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm always encouraging people to learn as much as you can and to share it.
Well, like I said, you definitely piqued my interest. And when you were telling the story, it kind of reminded me of Moses a little bit. His story is kind of, um, I don't know why I kind of conflated Moses with him, but it kind of reminded me of Moses in the Bible,
Uh-huh.
because Moses had to lead the people to the promised land.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't an eloquent speaker either. And God gave him the tools to be able to speak to the people. So I kind of look at them as a similarity. um, when I was listening to the speech again, although I've heard the speech 1,000 times, it seemed
Right.
like who was that Center said it was very powerful and gave them chills. Whoever said that in the chat, and that's what that speech does for me. It didn't, you just, it's like you hear it for the first time every time you hear it, and for
Mm-hmm.
whatever reason, it's always powerful and inspirational anytime I hear his voice. And it's something about the voice that he has that, just kind of ripple through your mindset. And so I love hearing him speak, and the eloquence of his speech. I just don't feel like it's anyone that can really speak as eloquent as he does. And so I do understand even the vocabulary that he had. I'm pretty sure people, and then him being from Mississippi, is that where he was born, in Mississippi? Because I heard them say
No,
Mississippi.
actually, he was born in Atlanta.
In Atlanta, but he was raised in Mississippi. What did I hear from
No,
Miss
he
about
was no,
Mississippi?
he grew up in Atlanta.
He grew up in Atlanta, but
Uh-huh.
but just his time frame in the South, the Southern, even today we still have that Southern twang, and you don't hear that in his voice that much
Hmm.
for him to grow up in the South.
Right.
So,
Yes, he was definitely a great speaker, and he has. I'm not sure of how many speeches he has, but he has a lot of quotes out there, um, and a lot of people still um, repeat some of the quotes that he had.
yeah, yeah. And that's what I said. His story is kind of like the Bible. You just kind of pick
Hmm.
and choose what you can, and then people tell the story of it, but you really don't have the real full story. You
Right.
don't remember the whole story, and you don't remember the full story, especially like when, whenever his day do come around. You see so many different movies, and sometimes when you watch too much of something, it kind of, and for me, it all run together at some point. And
Hmm.
so just over the years, just watching, I used to just watch him, watch the stories back to back, back to back. I haven't did that today for some reason, and for whatever reason, I just really haven't watched that much TV or been online that much today, because I just wanted to, kind of take a break from social media today. I knew you were going to come on, so I made sure that I, logged on at your time. But as far as being
Hmm.
on social media like I normally do, I haven't done that today because I didn't want to. Um, I wanted to be in a good mood, and I didn't want to see all the other
Uh-huh.
clips of what the other events that's going on. So I just didn't
Right.
even want to be bothered with that today,
Right.
and that's why I was able to
So,
have a good day today. Uh-huh.
yeah, most of what I saw on social media today was about him. I was
Yeah,
avoiding anything else as well.
yeah. So I kind of stayed off of social media today because I just didn't want to see his face everywhere. And any place, even if you went to the other sites, they're still talking about him. So I just kind of, stayed logged off today. But I knew you probably
Hmm.
was going to come on because I know this is your day. So I decided to come and to see, if you were going to come on, and it just so happened that you did. And I'm glad you
Hmm.
did because, like I said, I did learn something.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure that I did acknowledge him today.
Hmm.
Scorpio said that she didn't see too many that spoke on him. I didn't see a whole lot, but I did see a few people that were acknowledging him, and I did
What is she
see.
talking about? Content
Um,
creators or on social
I
media?
guess so. I guess I saw some people who were posting some of his quotes. I saw quite a few of
Yeah.
that happening.
I posted some yesterday
Hmm.
in a couple videos yesterday so that I wouldn't have to do it today. And then I got up this morning and just put, one picture up, and that's basically all I said, about it today. I kind of did it a day ahead of time because I knew I wasn't going to be on social media like that today.
Hmm.
And it may be a lot of people, that didn't come to social media today, and that's why, because over the weekend I have been seeing his picture kind of float around the whole, and Saturday and Sunday. I kind of, a lot of pages that I went to, they were
Hmm.
already, celebrating his day. So I think a lot of people kind of did it ahead of time so that, when today's, date came, I guess a lot of people decided they didn't want to be on social media today because, if she didn't see it that much, then that tells me that a lot of people probably wasn't even, on here today because of,
Hmm.
of the other festivities that's going on. Because you know how
Yeah.
they do it, they whenever this day happens, the whole day is totally about, about the event. So I'm sure a lot of
Right.
people probably just don't want to be bothered with that.
Right. Yeah. Well, I know I don't want to be bothered with that today. I don't want to
I
be
know
bothered
I
with
need
it
to.
tomorrow. I don't see it wanting to be bothered with it for a while now. But like I said, I trust God. So
Right.
I'm
Yeah,
not
and so
worried.
that's not gonna determine what I do because,
Hmm.
um, I'm not gonna even talk about it that much. Now, if something major happens, then yeah, I
Hmm.
may talk about it, but I'm not gonna be one of those people that's every day talk about him because that's exactly what he want, and I won't give him that
Hmm.
glory. I won't be doing that because really at this point nothing will surprise me.
Right. Senator,
So
can you do me a favor and put my other channels in the chat? You know what? You don't have to.
are,
I can do that myself.
are you gonna start back posting too? You gonna start back making shorts?
I did. I actually did one earlier.
Oh, you did? Okay. I'll go to the other page. See, I told you I haven't been on social media today like that. So,
Uh-huh.
but yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
definitely took
had
a
to.
break. Did you actually take a break from it? Because I haven't been
Yeah, I
seeing
have
it
been.
anymore.
I have been. Actually, I think that YouTube kind of shadow banned me on that channel.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, because I'm not getting a lot of views and stuff on it, but it's okay. I'm not worried
Yeah,
about it.
that part.
I
Because
just
you can always go live when you want to and do and talk about it. So
yeah, I just realized that I could go live on that
on that
channel.
channel. Oh, you didn't know that?
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention
Yeah,
and I
any
just
channel you have, you
realized
can
that
go. Yeah, any channel you have, you can go live on it.
uh-huh. Yeah,
Yeah. I
when
just
I say
decided
just
not to set up a
realized,
second channel yet. Huh?
yeah, when I say just realized, um I don't mean today, but I'm saying
Right.
recently
Yeah.
I realized that I could do that by
Well, are
looking
you are
um
you gonna start going live and doing shows on it, or are you gonna just continue to post your shorts on it?
I may, I'm not sure yet, but I may do something, go live on that channel.
Mhm.
Especially I may do it honestly if somebody like you want to talk about politics, I
Mhm.
may do that. Hey, a brilliant. Thanks for joining. Yeah, I may do it. If not, I might just keep doing shorts periodically.
Yeah. Let me put my email address. Well, my email address is on my page though. So, but I'll
Okay.
still put it in the back. I have to connect to the chat. Let's see if it'll let me put it in here. If you
Okay.
decide you want to do it, because like I said, I'm not gonna talk about this crap every day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure some things are gonna come up where you're gonna have you can't ignore it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So yeah,
especially with the plans that they have in place.
oh yeah,
Because yeah, but I don't
yeah,
want to I don't want to talk about that today.
right. Well, I just wanted to know if you were gonna go live on it because I'm gonna put it on my channel too. But I'm just not gonna. That's not the only thing that's gonna be there. Like I said, mine is gonna be sporadically. It's not gonna be like I was I was heavily invested in it when I was doing something else. But now that I don't have
Mhm.
to, I'm not because it's very
Mhm.
draining. So I don't want to be bothered with that at
I'm gonna
all.
email
Not
you. I'm gonna email you because I want to. Oh, thanks, Senator. I just know I'm gonna delete my message. Um, I'm gonna email you because I didn't. I heard something today, and I wanted talk to you about it. I'm not sure if you heard it or not. Um,
Okay.
so
I'm
I
sure I
wanted
haven't because
to.
I haven't been online today. So I'm sure. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I wanted to talk to
But
you
whatever you
about
want to
that
talk about,
today.
you know me, I'll talk to you. I don't mind.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna. Matter of fact, I can put my number here. I'm gonna put my phone
Oh,
number
okay.
here. So,
Okay. Yeah, I'll put mine on there also because I don't mind that
okay.
either. I trust you, Alice. Like I said, you keep me grounded, girl. You keep me a little bit nice.
I I don't. Sometimes I have to watch myself.
Because I'll be going in on them subjects I'll be talking about.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
I go in like that because it just, I do it like you say. The same reason why you do it. I do it as a cautionary tale, and I do it for educational purpose. But I also be upset about it too because I don't. Some
Hmm.
things I don't understand why they happen. Why you allow things to happen to you. The way that they happen to you sometimes. Because sometimes I know a lot of people say, well, God direct our path and God is this and God is that. But God also gave you five senses and you should use them, you know.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what people forget about. And it's not so much that he don't direct your path or guide you, but sometimes you're hard-headed and you just want to go your own way. And you forget about the five senses that you do have. And so that's where I'll be coming from when I go in on that, when I go in on those lives, that's where I'm coming
Hmm.
from. Because I feel like you should be able to use he gave us five senses for a reason,
Yeah.
and so sometimes people decide not to use them, but nevertheless they still there at your convenience whenever you decide you want to pick them up.
Yeah. Whenever
Yeah,
you decide,
yeah, whenever you
you have to
decide you
make
want to
it.
pick them up.
Yeah.
Hmm. So yeah.
So yeah, but I'm gonna it probably won't be today because
Yeah,
after I get off here I'm gonna probably lay
go lay
down.
down. Yeah.
But I am
That's
gonna
what I
give
was
you a
doing a while
call.
ago when you asked about Martin Luther King's name. I thought I heard you say birthday, and I was actually, I don't know what it is now. Every time I eat, like I take my vitamins and I eat, and then after that
Uh-huh.
I get real sleepy for some reason. That never used to happen to me, but I don't know. I just get
Oh,
so sleepy these days now. Maybe I'm not
oh.
doing enough. I don't know, but yeah. So I was dozing off, and you said, "Hey, what I asked?" I'm like, "Okay, Alice." Like, all right, sis, let me wake on up and see what you're talking about. Because I really was dozing off for a second, though. But it's all good, though. But yeah,
uh,
you did teach me something today. I do appreciate that. If I want to make sure I let you know that. And I
okay,
am going to look
good.
a little bit more off into this.
Okay. Oh, I also I know this is about Martin Luther King, and I promise y'all that um majority of this live is going to be about Martin Luther King. But was it 2 weeks ago? I was talking about the Commanders football team, and I
Oh,
was talking about how it was the New Year's. I was talking about the New Year's, and I was talking about not giving up and
mm-hmm.
to keep going. And I just wanted to congratulate my team, the Washington Commanders,
Yeah, my daughter
for
told me about you.
yeah, being in the championship game. Um, they took Detroit out, even though I don't want anybody to get it twisted. I still root for Detroit because I have family in Detroit, and they're Detroit fans. And um, my cousin, who um, who was unalived by her estranged husband last year, January 7th. I was going to do a live on her, but I just decided not to because it was too emotional for me.
Mm-hmm.
But she was a diehard Detroit fan, so I always root for Detroit on her behalf, in her honor. And then Saturday, her mother, who was also a Detroit Lions fan passed away. So
Oh, so
I
sorry
still
about
root
that.
for Detroit. Thank you.
Yeah, my
Yeah,
condolences to you and your family.
thank you.
Well, when my daughter told me about that, I was like, wow, I'm totally shocked that
Yeah.
the Commanders actually made it to the playoffs because it's been a minute,
Hmm.
haven't it, Alice?
Oh, it's been a long time. The last time they went to the championship game, my son, my son is 35, and he was what, 3 years old, I
2
believe.
days old.
He was 3. I think he was 3 years old,
I'm, being-
if I'm not mistaken.
I'm just joking. I
Yeah.
said, what, it was 2
You-
days old last time
Oh,
they
you
met?
said 2 days.
Yeah.
I'm not playing with you.
Okay.
But yeah.
We now,
So
Alice, you because they changed their names too, didn't? Wasn't it the Washington
oh
Redskins or something?
yeah. It was, yeah.
Yeah.
They changed their name from the Redskins, and then for a while they were the Washington football team.
Right.
And
I
now
remember that.
they're the Commanders. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get used to that new name. It just kind of sounds weird to me.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know what I mean. I know why they say they did it, but I mean
Hmm.
it's football. It's not nothing facetious. So I mean,
Yeah, some people are still upset um about
well,
that
you know,
name.
just
They want them to change it back.
like they changed Aunt Jemima served to Pearl Milling or whatever. Like
Uh-huh.
I've been known as Aunt Jemima, y'all. Why y'all had to change it? But okay, General Mills.
Yeah.
It's the new
Thanks,
wave that we live
Maria.
in.
Yeah.
But you know, my team, I had, you know, I had every confidence that my team is going to make it because, of course, you know, we've been to the Super Bowl already, the Chiefs. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, so I feel like y'all probably going to play us
Yeah, maybe so.
if y'all do
You
make
know
it
they
out.
have a nickname. You know they have a nickname going on. They're calling them the Kansas City Cheats.
Oh, oh,
Yeah.
why all the hate?
I don't know. I don't
Why they
know.
upset
Because
with us?
I'm not if we have to play them, um, I want us to win, of course, but I
Yeah,
don't, you know, I don't dislike the Chiefs. So
right.
but
Well,
anyway, I'm
if
gonna
we can keep if we can keep Patrick together, then everything should be all right.
mhm.
Yeah, we should, you know, be well on our way. And so, but I feel like we probably will make it.
Okay. Well, we'll see.
You say
But
we'll
I'm
see.
going to get off of here. Yeah, I'm going to get off of here and
Well, thank you for having me up on your panel. And like
oh, you're
it's
welcome.
always my pleasure to come and talk with you. And whenever you're feeling up to it or better or whatever, contact me and we'll go from there.
Okay,
And
I
once
will.
again, condolences to your family.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
and
you.
have a great day.
You too. Okay, y'all. Like I said, I'm getting ready to get off. I appreciate everyone for joining me this evening. And if you have not liked the video, feel free to like it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, feel free to subscribe to the channel and set the notification bell to all so that you'll know when I'm back with something new. And have a enjoy the rest of your evening. Continue to be blessed. Remember that God loves you even more than I do, and I really do love you all. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye bye.